Okay, zoning laws. We know what zoning laws are. They're municipal statutes that control uses of property. Okay, so when can a zoning law be challenged on constitutional grounds? Well, if it can be challenged via equal protection, if it's treating similarly situated people differently. There can be a First Amendment challenge to a zoning law if it involves signs or billboards or some sort of protected speech. What about if it's arbitrary and capricious? Then it would violate substantive due process. Okay, so when we're talking about zoning on the MBE, we're mainly talking about the defenses. Number one, the constitutional defenses. Substantive due process, is it arbitrary and capricious? Does it violate equal protection by treating similarly situated classes of people differently? Is it unconstitutional on the basis of the First Amendment? Yes, if it involves protected speech like signs or billboards or those. So those are our three constitutional challenges. Substantive due process, it's arbitrary and capricious. Equal protection and First Amendment. Okay, now on to our other defenses. A non-conforming use. Remember, a new ordinance must allow a valid non-conforming use to exist for a reasonable time. A non-conforming use. The new ordinance must allow what? A valid non-conforming use to continue to exist forever? No, a reasonable time. Or it might be considered, we have a constitutional defense, a taking. Okay, what's a reasonable time? There actually is a standard to this. A reasonable time is until it's conveyed to a new owner, the use ceases, or the property is destroyed. So our base rule here for a non-conforming use is that a new ordinance must allow what? A use that existed before the zoning ordinance was passed for a reasonable time, or it may be considered what? Oh yes, a taking. What's a reasonable time? Well, we wait until it is conveyed to a new owner. Its use, that's right, ceases, or the property is destroyed. So a non-conforming use is extinguished when the property is sold to someone else, they stop using it that way, or the property is destroyed. Those are our only times. Okay. Can you extend or intensify a non-conforming use? No. The owner may not ever extend or intensify a valid non-conforming use. Just because they let you continue to operate your strip club doesn't mean that you can add on to the club. However, you can repair. Okay, so relief from zoning continued. We've got our special use permit. We know what a special use permit is. It's something that is not incompatible with the area and it benefits the public's health, safety, and welfare. So someone may be granted a special use permit to use land in a way that's not normally allowable by zoning, like for a cement factory or strip mining, if it's not incompatible with the area and it benefits the public health, safety, and welfare. A variance. What's our standard? A variance is an exception. It's granted if the property is very unique. There's undue hardship required to comply with the ordinance, or the property owner can't make beneficial use of the land. Okay, a variance may be granted if the property is one, that's right, unique. Two, it is unnecessarily hard to comply with the ordinance. Or three, the property owner can't make beneficial use of the land. Okay, variance. Properties that are what? That's right, unique. There would be an undue hardship to the owner if they had to comply with the ordinance, or the owner cannot otherwise make, that's right, beneficial use of the land. A variance may be denied on the basis of health, safety, and welfare of the public, FYI. Okay, what is an exaction? This is an approval that is based on an exchange of money. You give money, the landowner gives money, an exaction for approval of the use. An exaction is money given by who? The landowner for the use. Okay, why is this okay? If there's a public need and the exaction is borne by the public, there's a public need and the exaction is borne by the public. Okay, so the official rule here is that the exaction is okay if there's a public need that has an essential nexus to the owner's use. A public need that has an essential nexus to the owner's use. Okay, finally, spot zoning. Spot zoning, where we zone only one property, is presumptively what? Unconstitutional. Why? Because it is not for the public benefit. It is not for public health, safety, and welfare. Okay, what are our constitutional defenses? There are three. Substantive due process. It is arbitrary and capricious. Equal protection. The zoning law treats similarly situated persons differently. First Amendment, if it involves protected speech like signs, billboards. A non-conforming use. The new ordinance has to allow that use for a reasonable time, or it may be considered what? That's right, a taking. What's a reasonable time? Until it's 1, sold to a new owner, 2, they stop using it that way, or 3, the property is destroyed. Can the owner extend or intensify a valid non-conforming use? No, but they can repair things. Special use permit, not incompatible with the area, and it benefits the health, safety, and welfare of the public. A variance is an exception for properties that are very, that's right, unique, or where there would be an undue hardship to the owner to comply with it, or the property owner cannot otherwise make, that's right, beneficial use of the land. An exaction is an exchange of money for getting out of that zoning ordinance. There has to be public need and essential nexus to the owner's use. And of course, spot zoning is presumptively, that's right, unconstitutional.